Hi, I'm Brian from Simply Brian Enterprises, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. Rather than looking at Raspberry Pi or one of Top Tech Boys classes, I'm going to do a little unboxing. I recently purchased something and I thought I'd like to unbox it and share what's inside and then kind of talk about the nature of things. So I'm going to flip over here to my tabletop camera and I'm going to show you what I bought. So when I start learning something new, a new microcontroller, for instance, when I first started learning Arduino, when I first started learning Pi, I went out and I bought a kit. Not just the individual controller and components, but I actually bought a pre-assembled kit, or not a pre-assembled, but an itemized kit with documentation, with source code, with all those kind of things, because I didn't want to just learn it, but I actually wanted to have some guidance of here's a list of projects, here's all the parts you need, everything self-contained in a nice little box. And that's worked really well for me. And so recently I've been wanting to get started with the Raspberry Pi Pico, of which I know very little about. And so I thought, well, the obvious answer is let's get a kit. Let's get everything kind of bundled together, all the parts, all the pieces, hopefully some kind of documentation to put it all together, some projects I can work on, start learning how these things work. And so I did a little research and I decided to purchase, it's upside down, this kit right here. This is Inland branded Raspberry Pi Pico starter kit. There are several different varieties of the Inland kit. I'll put some links below. For those of you who don't know, Inland is actually a store brand for Microcenter. If you're fortunate enough to have a Microcenter nearby, they're a great store for kits, parts, tools, and kind of all your general electronics maker supplies. If you don't have one near you, I feel sorry for you because there's a really great place to go. They have reasonable prices, and they usually have a good amount of stock on hand. And as I mentioned, they have a handful of kits. I looked them over and I decided to purchase this one. And as we dig in here, I will show you why. One of the pieces of information that's right on the website is that even though it's branded Inland, the Microcenter brand, this kit is actually made by another vendor called GeekPi. And I'm going to get to why that's kind of relevant. Plays into some other things. So we'll just kind of open this up. So there's a there's a box, and then there's a box, and then there's a box. So let's open up the third box here, the actual component and kit, kind of see what we have inside. The first thing that really impresses me about this kit is that it comes with a paper manual, fairly decent sized from what I can see. A lot of information about the components. As we get back here, we start to get into projects. Project source code, looks like they're using Thonny IDE on a Raspberry Pi to do their programming. So really nicely laid out manual. It's not normal to see a kit come with a manual that's, nice color printed, nice explanation of everything in a bound fashion. Usually it's a PDF that you have to download. And I'm sure this manual is in PDF, which is nice when you're doing copying and pasting of sample code for your projects. But I like the idea of having this nice paper book to keep with the kit. So that was one of the major selling points for me. And obviously on the back, we see this beautiful color diagram of the pinout of the GPIO pins and so forth. Just like the Raspberry Pi, these are a little confusing. So if you don't have the the guide right in front of you, the pinout right in front of you, you can get lost easily. And so here's the GeekPi card. So this is the actual manufacturer is GeekPi. And what I found interesting is that in this manual, it actually references Microcenter. So there's some Microcenter documentation available. But on this little card, there's also some information from GeekPi. So in addition to the manual and the projects in here, there's additional resources available. I think they've got a Facebook page. They've got a YouTube channel. Lots of good information. And again, Nice little postcard size pinout kind of thing. So that's kind of neat. Inside, I'm not going to go into all the depths of the components, namely because I don't know what they all are at this point. We can kind of look at the back of the box and get an idea of what's in here. Looks like we've got some sensors, serial LCD, a bunch of LEDs, um, serial, what do we call that? A 4x8 digit display. Looks like ultrasonic sensor, a servo, just some neat things. So um, another reason I chose this kit, this one is the most complete looking in terms of all the fun little components that it comes with. But I wanted to bring your attention to something, actually a couple of things. So here's the actual Raspberry Pi Pico. And I want you to notice that it ships with the pins soldered on. So if you go to buy a Raspberry Pi Pico, and they are available, Microcenter has them, Amazon has them, they're available. They're in plentiful supply right now, even in May of 2022 when it's hard to find things. The Picos are widely available. They don't typically have the headers soldered on, and you need to solder them yourself. I'm okay at soldering, and I did buy a couple extra Picos and the headers to solder, but for the starter kit, I don't want to have to solder. I want to have everything kind of put together, ready to go for me, so I don't have to do the extra work. And of course, it comes with a breadboard, which is nice. I've got plenty of breadboards, but the thing is, I want to keep this all together. I don't want to mix and match parts. I want to keep this all as one kit. So the fact that it comes with its own breadboard that I can kind of keep with it, that's really neat. But the thing that I found really exciting about this kit, and it's actually one of the reasons I chose this particular kit over the other ones, is this nifty little contraption. So it's got a holder for the breadboard. It's got sockets for the Pi Pico. It's got some built-in things, some push buttons, some extra headers and things. It's got some surface mount LEDs. It's got some pretty neat stuff built right into the board without having to even connect things, connect things via breadboard and whatnot. It's already baked in. You can start programming push buttons without even really doing any building or tinkering. And I do want to show you something because I found this really interesting. So if we look at this, this is the Geek Pi logo. The Geek Pi logo looks suspiciously like another logo I've seen, the 52 Pi logo. Isn't that interesting? Well, as it turns out, Geek Pi and 52 Pi are related companies. I don't know if one is a parent of the other, but they're very similar. And what does 52 Pi make that I love so much? The ABS holder that the Redabbler is built against. So I thought it was kind of neat that the company that makes this nice little ABS holder that I built the Redabbler against is the same company that made this kit, is the same company that made this kind of neat breadboard holder thing for the Pico or the Pico. So just thought that was kind of neat. And all things considered, I just thought this was the best kit to buy because it does come with the most components. It comes with this little contraption. This little guy is about $20 just for the holder, and I paid somewhere around $75 for the whole kit. So I feel like I got a really good deal by buying the larger kit that came with the holder. And of course, more projects, more parts, more fun. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. I thought that was kind of fun. I started taking it apart and thought, I think it'd be fun to make a video of this. Maybe somebody else would be interested. So if you're interested in starting with the Raspberry Pi Pico, like I said, I'm going to have links below for the Microcenter components that I bought and some of the alternate kits. They do make some smaller kits if you don't want to shell out quite so much. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll be able to post some videos in the future of tinkering and learning with the Pico. So appreciate your time. Have a good day. See you later.